It's a refreshing and deliciously flavorful beer, easy drinking and high quality. All Day IPA is an IPA that is naturally brewed with an array of malts, grains, and hops, creating a delicious citrusy taste and a clean finish. It's the perfect beer for anyone looking to make the ordinary extraordinary and the good times great. And speaking of great times, we've got, if you're on the boat, if you're at the beach, if you're making arrangements for tailgating and game days, All Day IPA is the perfect beer for any of those situations, but specifically on game day. Visit foundersbrewing.com to find All Day IPA. All Day IPA, it's all in the taste. Founders Brewing Company, Grand Rapids, Michigan. For 21 years old or older, please drink responsibly.
John, I think this is an interesting way of framing our Tiger conversation today.
Okay.
They've been playing better. People are in a better mood. They're not letting this wet,
dreary day,
steamy, dreary, muggy day get to them. People are feeling better about their baseball team. How much better? Fangraphs keeps track of playoff odds, and they change throughout the season. What number? Give me a percentage chance that the Tigers make the playoffs right now. We'll see how it matches up.
So I had a number in my head, but the way you set that up, it kind of sounds like it's more positive. And so I'm thinking that maybe I'm underestimating the positive vibes in the production of some of the batters that has been increased over the past few weeks. And I'm just not ready to believe. Do I believe that Colt Keith will be more productive over the course of the year? Sure. Riley Green? Yes. I just don't know that they get the run support that they've had in the last 2 weeks. So I'm going to hold tight to what I thought before your positive lead in. And I'm going to say their percentage of chance of making the playoffs is 13%.
Fangraphs gives you the projected win-loss record for the Tigers, their chance to win the division, the chance to clinch the wild card, and the overall percentage chance to make the playoffs. The Tigers come in at 7.4%.
Oh, I overestimated. Well, you oversold. Wow. I'm glad I didn't change. I was thinking, well, maybe I should go to 20.
John's like, I got a 30% chance. No, John, it's 7. No. The projected record for the Tigers today is 80-82, 2 games below 500, which would be 1 game better the rest of the way for this baseball team. Do with that what you will. Just some perspective. Again, nobody wants to tell people that you can't enjoy this.
Before you saw that, did you have a number? Maybe you didn't, and then
I didn't.
Your mind has been tainted.
I don't know. I would give them between a 5 and a 10% chance. I mean, it's slim.
Okay, yeah, the 7.5%. Yeah.
I would go under. Fine.
Well done.
How about this? How about this, John? 7.4 over under. I would go under.
I was going to give them somewhere between 5 and 10. Oh, it happens to be 7.5.
Yeah, when you know it. Okay, let's briefly touch on the draft so far. It's the baseball draft. We don't have to get too deep into this, but the Tigers have drafted a high school bat and a couple high school arms, and I'm sure there will be people who are up in arms. How dare they ask us to be patient? These high schoolers are going to be years away. That is not how I view this. The player they drafted was a consensus top 10 shortstop. There's some comps to Corey Seager, taller guy, lefty swing. John, it's a high school bat. They took a high school bat a year ago. People don't like that. My thought is this. Give me a guy that you believe in with a high ceiling, very toolsy player, can hit, can run, can field, and that doesn't give you an excuse to take 3 or 4 years to build a competitive major league team. In the meantime, you do your job and you field a competitive team while they develop. So I have no issue with drafting high schoolers as long as there's follow through at the major league level while they develop in the system.
And the current sample that we have, the 2 most notable, Riley Green, correct me if I'm wrong.
High schooler.
Spencer Torkelson.
College bat.
I mean, it's going to take longer for those high school bats to get here. I agree. And that's painful, but that's part of the painful process of draft picks in hockey, draft picks in baseball. Even if they come out of college, they generally spend a couple of years in the minor leagues before they are Major League Baseball ready. Unless you're Paul Skeens.
Who is starting the All-Star game tomorrow night?
Yes.
And we don't know who's starting opposite him yet?
We will know later today.
We should already know.
We should.
It's Scooble, right?
It has to be.
He can pitch an inning. He's not quite on normal rest, but he can pitch an inning to start the All-Star game.
How much do you think that rest topic plays into who they decide to? Because whether he pitches the first inning or he pitches the second or the third, right, he's still going to be pitching. So it shouldn't matter at all.
It shouldn't matter even
unless you're expecting your starter to go 2, then maybe.
And you look at his numbers across the board. The ERA, the strikeouts, the whip. And he's got a whip under 1. I mean, he's the best pitcher in the American League across the board. He should be the starter at the All-Star game. Skeens on one side, Scooble on the other side. There is no. They showed
a great matchup.
They showed a graphic here. I'll find this. They showed a graphic during the games this weekend, asking about the debate between the starters for the All-Star game.
Yeah,
it's not a debate. Scooble's ERA is better than Burns, better than Crochet, better than Reagan's and Hawk. His whip is better than all of them, too. And he's got more strikeouts than anybody but Crochet. I mean, he's the starter. He's taking the Old English D out of it. He's the starter.
We'll see.
They got to announce it, today?
Yeah. Well, yeah, they have to announce it today.
All right. Home run derbies tonight. I do want a name from you. I'll present a name before the end of this. We do need to get to at least one observation that I had on my vacation. The state of Connecticut confuses me. We'll get to that at 9:35. And, John, don't think I forgot. I got to tell you which team I will be beginning my coaching journey.
Oh, that's right.
That's right.
That's right, because you were on vacation to donate as much time as possible to your wife before you disappear for the next, 2, 3, 4 weeks?
6 weeks, 7 weeks.
Just in time for the real football to come back, John.
Oh, man. You're such a bum.
When I was gone, I did see a poll question where they were trying to egg you on to actually play. I know there's a 0% chance of that actually happening.
Yeah, 0.
Okay.
Do you sit in the living room? Do you occupy the main TV?
No.
Okay, good.
No, that would
At least
be.
That's good.
No, but that would also constitute that he sees his wife every once in a while as she walks by and he says, "What are you doing? Get out of my way!
You're blocking the screen!"
At least there's some conversation. No, he is going to be in the back corner right next to the catio.
Rebuilding the following school. We'll get to it at 9:50. At least that's where the journey will start. Let's get to Heather with the news.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So time consuming.
Oh.
My goodness. You guys, following the attempted assassination of Donald Trump, President Biden addressed the nation from the Oval Office, condemning violence of any type, and he called for unity from all. Now, as the investigation into the assassination attempt continues to unfold and intensifies, questions continue to rise on how this gunman managed to get onto this rooftop, fire off multiple shots, and seemingly unseen by the Secret Service or other officers on the ground, because there's this new video that shows the shooter had ample time to get set up on this rooftop as he kind of bear crawls across this roof. And the video shows that there are a lot of people on the ground that saw the gunman, saw the man, and many tried to even flag down officers on the ground. In fact, there's one man, Greg Smith, he says that he warned police of the gunman, but was ignored. And that is a question a lot of people are asking now, is how did this man manage to do this? A spokesperson with Homeland Security says that the shooter should never have been able to get a direct line of sight, and that is why Biden has ordered now an independent review of this incident. Obviously, because of this incident, too, additional security has been added to Trump's detail ahead of the Republican convention.
National convention,
yes.
In Milwaukee,
So there's going to be added detail, which rightfully so.
Yep.
There's going to be changes, and for sure needs to be.
I thought I had read that the protocol is 1,000.
Yeah, I saw that somewhere too.
Feet or maybe yards that they make sure to secure all potential threats, yet this guy's a football field and a half away. It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. It was also a really tragic weekend in Hollywood. Fitness guru Richard Simmons passed away a day after his 76th birthday. This was in Los Angeles. Shannon Doherty died as well after a lengthy battle with breast cancer. She was only 53 years old. Media icon and sex therapist Dr. Ruth passed away. She lived a long life, 96 years old. And then in the world of sports, former NFL star Jacoby Jones passed away at just the age of 40. No cause of death has been
no
released.
reason, but it's 40 is way too young for somebody that was as healthy as an individual as you can find.
Without a doubt.
He was a catalyst when they won the
Super Bowl.
The Super Bowl, yeah.
Yep.
The involuntary manslaughter case against Alec Baldwin has been dismissed. It happened on Friday. It was all due to alleged misconduct by the prosecution. So a judge dismissed the case after finding law enforcement had concealed evidence that prevented the actor from preparing his defense. He broke down in tears, as well as his wife. He faced up to 18 months in prison if he would have been convicted. The family of cinematographer Helena Hutchins is going to continue to pursue a civil case. Finally, Travis Kelce. He had a couple of shots get away from him during a celebrity golf outing on Friday, and one left a woman bloodied. Did you hear about this?
No.
Witnesses say that he actually launched a shot from the 16th fairway, and it ended up flying towards onlookers, and it smacked one woman in the side of the head.
Oh, jeez.
Can you imagine that? So he actually went over, talked with this woman, hung out with her and the group of people that were surrounding her. He's standing next to her as one person's like putting a cloth against her head as she's
gushing
dripping
blood.
blood. Eventually, medics arrived. He helped this woman get to her feet. He did snap a photo with her. It seems like was in good spirits and nobody was upset about anything, but he made sure that she was well taken care of before he hit the links again. Yeah. And it sounds like this wasn't the first shot that kind of went awry.
Astray.
Yeah, that had happened before. And then his brother did the same thing, but didn't hit anybody. So I guess they're maybe not the best golfers. I don't know.
No.
Or just keep your distance if you see them on the course. You never know.
Yeah.
Head on a swivel.
Yes, exactly.
All right, coming up next, Connecticut, I don't understand. Why do you do this? We'll get to home run derby picks and my pick for college football 25. It's 97.1.
Hey, looking for ways to level up your fitness? Well, you can join the YMCA with no contract and no joiner fees and for just $3 a day. I'm loving all the YMCA has to offer, including access to indoor pools, Les Mills group fitness, hundreds of machines, discounts on personal training, which I'm taking full advantage of right now, all with free child watch while you work out. And now you can go and try the Y for free. Visit any of the 7 Metro Detroit locations and get a free guest pass. Learn more at ymcadetroit.org and find your Y today.
Fun weekend at the ballpark.
Big moments. A lot of people there to see it, too.
Yeah, how about that? Now, some of that is it's the Dodgers and it's Shohei, but it's nice to see that place.
Scooble on Friday.
Yeah. See what that place is capable of, what it once was, what we want it to be in the near future. It's what I've said today is I could really continue to beat the dead horse of where would they be if they added a couple bats. All I can say is finish the season on a high note. I don't think it's going to mean playoffs, but finish the season on a high note with guys like Colt Keith solidifying roster spots, and then incentivize and demand with their play a real honest spend and an effort from the front office. Not on this like 3 or 4 year plan with the pipeline. You can do that simultaneously while fielding a major league roster. The 06 Tigers have been brought up today. I would point out that they had Guillen, Maglio, and Pudge. Got to add those guys. Along with, your Verlanders and your young players that are coming up through the pipe at the same time. 248-539-9797. John, you got a home run derby pick?
I do. And it really comes down to who wants it the most. And Pete Alonso this is his 5th time. He's won it twice. And I go back to some of the quotes, and I don't have them directly in front of me. Somehow I misplaced them. But he basically said this was a childhood dream to be in the home run derby. Now he's won it twice. They ask him again. He says, he can't say yes fast enough. He loves the event. He loves the fact that this was his childhood dream, and he gets to live it out every year. Sounds like he wants to do it as long as they will be asking him. And the experience that he has, like you could say Gunnar Henderson, because, he's been hitting bombs. Hit another one this weekend. But I'm going to go with Pete Alonso because I just think their experience will play a little bit of a part of this. Not a huge amount, but working your way through the different rounds. Yep. I know there's some tweaks to the rules, but
you still got to know what you're doing.
I'm going with Pete Alonso.
Okay, he is the betting favorite.
And it may just be more the fan in me coming out because he talks about the whole childhood dream that I'm just rooting more for Pete Alonso.
Did you ever do those with like teammates? You guys would have like home run derby stuff like in the summer, you go to like barbecues and stuff?
Oh, sure.
Like wiffle ball, home run derby.
Wiffle ball,
yeah.
Yeah.
But the same concept, and you'd imagine there you are, a chance to win it. Pete Alonso's done it a couple times. Not a bad pick. I'm going to go with Bobby Witt Jr.
Okay.
So exit velo, it's him and Gunnar Henderson. The park itself plays more to right-handed batters than lefties, so slight edge to Bobby Witt. You can get him at about plus 500. So there's my pick, Bobby Witt Jr.
15 home runs this year?
Yeah, is that what you're going to base this off of?
No. I'm just saying, because obviously, Pete Alonso's only got 18.
Right.
I don't know. It's just okay. It's interesting. All right. Going in division.
Carried away. Okay. I was in Connecticut this weekend, and we'll talk more pizza tomorrow and the idea of basing an entire vacation around pizza. I think it was a worthwhile choice. I will be judged for it, I'm sure. But we went to New Haven, Connecticut, where they supposedly have great pizza, and it's no longer supposedly. I can vouch for it. But while I was there...
Did you go to Louis' Lunch?
So you sent me this. They do the burger. That's where the very first hamburger was invented.
They invented the burger, yeah.
Yes.
Talked about it on Friday with Stoney.
They do the burger. It's like on toast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was like a block from where we stayed.
It doesn't actually sound very good. A burger on toast with like no condiments, right? They don't give you anything.
Cheese, and then you can top it.
Somebody said there was like...
they don't allow condiments.
Yeah.
I think you have to either bring your own or... It sounds amazing to me.
You would have liked this trip. So Yale is also in New Haven.
Did you go to the Yale Bowl?
Yes, and I was a little disappointed. Although
I warned you.
I'll tell you
it's a little underwhelming.
There's a roundabout right next to it, so I thought of you immediately. It's right there. You can't really get that close because, they got like the fence around it, and it's a hill that like descends into the bowl, so you can't see it unless you're in the stadium. But yeah, I made sure to walk over to the Yale Bowl.
In a historical venue, at a historical venue.
You told me that inspired the Rose Bowl.
The Rose Bowl, the big house.
Yeah.
Coliseum.
The Yale Bowl.
Yeah.
So anyway, there's pizza. There was Yale. We could talk a little more about it tomorrow. I want to bring up something I just don't understand about the state of Connecticut. I think this is at least New Haven. I think it may even be the entire state. The crosswalks. So I don't know if I described this well to you before the show, John. But the concept is you get to your traditional four-way stop.
Intersection.
where there's lights and there's, the pedestrian crossing and you wait for the pedestrian crossing sign. The way they have it set up there is some intersections allow for pedestrian crossing both ways at the same time. So all traffic stops for the pedestrians to go both north and south and east and west at the same time in mass. And in fact, some people will just go diagonal through the intersection to save time, because if you don't get there, you're waiting. So you can either jaywalk when, one side's going, but they want everyone to walk at the same time. And to me, it's the most inefficient way to have an intersection. It's stupid.
So there's basically 3 cycles.
Yes.
There's a cycle for those traveling east and west. Light turns red, and immediately it switches to north and south. Light turns red, and then it goes to
East
the
and west.
pedestrians.
Oh, yes.
So you're not supposed to travel with traffic. So if it's going east and west and it's stopped north and south, you can actually walk west or east, whichever way you're going.
But yes, so the thought is it takes it from a normal cycle of on or off, what we're used to, either you can or you can't. Mm-hmm. It's 50% of the time you're walking, to only 33% of the time, a third of the time, can you walk. Otherwise, you're jaywalking, or someone's turning and they might hit you. It just feels like a really inefficient way to have a crosswalk.
So you're in New Haven now. Obviously, that's where Yale is. Were these intersections that you were experiencing just on the campus of Yale?
No.
Because pedestrians on a college campus rule the day. Like, they will walk out anywhere. And so maybe it was their attempt originally on campus to minimize auto pedestrian incidents.
No, these were, especially the way it's set up, Little Italy, where all the pizza places are not right off the campus. It's about 20-minute walk. And we needed to walk with all the food we were eating. But we saw this even going down towards the neighborhoods, like intersections where you had cross traffic. I didn't understand it. Kelce had some friends that lived there, and they thought nothing of it because they're used to it. I said, I've never seen this in my entire life.
The first time
set that up.
Your first interaction, did you were waiting for the light to turn, and then did you almost step out, and everybody else was like, whoa?
Yeah, well, no one was trying to save me, but yes, I did the whoop, turn right around. But we weren't
Kelce with the hand in the back.
hey, easy there. But I didn't wait the whole time. I mean, if we had a red light going the other way, we would jaywalk. I mean,
you pulled out the I'm above the law.
Sure.
Do you know who I am? I'm a big deal in Detroit.
No, this is just how everybody else does it literally everywhere. I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to spend all the time at the light if no one else is going. If there's
if it's the law.
Is it that we're going to do this?
I'm
You've never jaywalked?
I'm not saying I haven't. Okay. I'm just asking you this question.
Of course he hasn't. Right?
John would never.
No, he's not a rule breaker.
He'd wait until it was his turn with the light and the little guy walking, and then he'd go.
I don't even wait now. If it's if that little sign says it's got the what is it, the red hand that says you can't walk. Mm-hmm. There's no one coming. It's time to go.
Yeah.
I don't understand the theory behind that unless at some point they had some catastrophic accident and they are just simply trying to. That was a overreaction to.
It has to be a safety thing, right?
Well, sure.
So here's the thought.
That's got to be it. I've never seen it either.
It avoids, in theory, someone turning left and hitting you while you're crossing, or turning right and hitting you while you're crossing. But
head on a swivel.
Yeah, that's all I did. Just look back. Nobody's in the right lane. All right, let's go.
The other 49 states have been able to figure that out.
Yeah. I don't understand. If anybody has seen anything like this or weird traffic things in other states, text them in 248-539-9797. Might be something fun to end the show with.
Did they actually know, as you mentioned, the traffic circle that was close to the Yale Bowl, was that one?
It was well marked.
Okay, but when you were walking the entire time, so you were in vehicle, so I was just wondering your observations of are they handling it better than we do?
Well, so
do they come to a complete stop at the yield sign and just wait and wait and wait?
Our Connecticut drivers
are you able to cross the road easier on those versus an actual intersection as a pedestrian?
Do they get in the right lane when they're to exit the turn circle? Yeah. A lot of people don't do that here either. It drives me crazy.
Yeah, I don't have a grade for you on Connecticut drivers.
I don't think you were here when we talked about traffic circles.
I love traffic circles.
Oh, me too.
We all do.
But I hate the people that don't know how to use them.
Which is surprisingly most people, it feels like how many times you get there and people freeze up, they don't know what they're doing. Well, we did this. Yeah, you must have been out. We
you're
talked
all turning
about
the same way.
Yeah, just look to your left, yield if you need to, and then keep traffic moving.
That's the point of them, is so that you don't have to come to a complete stop unless you obviously have to, but just you move.
No, we did ode to roundabouts. The only issue is people don't know what they're doing.
No.
You'd want more of them if people knew what they were doing, but they don't. So do you want more roundabouts? Anyway, if you missed it, it's podcasted somewhere. It wasn't that long ago. If you missed anything from today's show, it'll be up. Greg works real quick to get it up after the show. We've got one more thing to talk about. What?
Yep. Nothing.
You don't think Greg?
Wait, you don't think Greg works hard?
Well, maybe he does. Yeah.
I see him over there. He's got headphones in. He stays hours after the show. Greg, I can't believe she did this to you.
No, that's
On
not what I'm
air,
talking about.
live
Just
in
go.
the moment.
Let's move.
Throwing our coworkers under the bus. Who do you want?
That's not what I was
Wow.
doing.
Okay.
I'm sure he's a very hard worker.
Okay.
Greg,
Was it
you're a
something
dedicated worker.
Was it something I said?
It was something you said.
Okay, I screwed up. So
Oh.
I get thrown under the bus.
Something I missed.
You didn't catch that? Go to commercial.
You think I was putting the pressure on him to put it up in a timely manner?
No.
We're going to check the tape.
Yeah, we'll revisit this when we
I must have
return.
misspoke.
I missed something
Okay,
too.
all
Usually,
right.
I'm the one that picks up on how to throw Jim Costa under the bus.
And now I'm thinking Heather was trying to do
Yeah.
me a solid by moving on, and now I'm going to be the victim. All right, we'll figure out what I said wrong next. 97.1.
Hey,
I just pulled John. That's all it was. I caught something about you saying how he works hard to get it.
through the winter, through the summer, with all the rain that we got last week. So happy that my wife and I decided last fall to put a new roof on our house, protecting our biggest investment and obviously protecting my family as well. We went with Rapid Roofing because they have flexible financing options. They offer extensive manufacturer-backed warranty option. It is family-owned and operated, and here was the best part. It wasn't a high-pressure sales approach. They showed up, they gave us the estimate, and it wasn't, hey, if you promise us that you're going to go with us today, we'll knock off X amount of dollars. No, it was a very legitimate estimate, and then they showed up. They fulfilled every promise. One day, they showed up, ripped the roof off, made the repairs, put the new roof on, and then cleaned everything up, and we're gone. They can do the same thing for you. That's Rapid Roofing. You can reach them at 888-360-ROOF. That's 888-360-ROOF, or on the web at rapidroofing.com.
We have some business to attend to as we wrap up the show.
Yeah.
And some of you have sent in some nice things with traffic violations or traffic setups in other states. Before we read those, we learned that Heather's worse than John.
No,
Oh, yeah.
no, I'm
Yep.
not.
In my defense, I would like to actually state right now that I am the mature one on this show, other than one Jim Costa.
It's Heather who pulled a John.
Whoa. She pulled a Heather. Like, this is, I think I have been corrupted. I have been
No,
influenced.
you have corrupted me. That's
I'm not
the
sure
problem.
that's how this goes.
I think it is.
So I was promoting our podcasts, and apparently this is what I said.
Yeah.
He works real quick to get it up after the show. That afternoon delight's on the horizon. Got to get the podcasts up so we can go home and quickly handle his business.
You were just waiting for me to jump in and confirm.
And I looked at you and you're like, what? You don't think Greg works hard? And I was like, oh, jeez.
Texter says Heather was being a pervert.
I was.
Everybody else got it but us.
Heather, you got it. You handled it well. Keep it up there. That's Billy in Howell on the ticket text.
It's clear. It is clear.
Ticket texters. I can't believe that. I expect that from John. I did not expect that from you.
You should change your expectations.
I shouldn't
The
judge.
one with their mind in the gutter 100% of the time.
Oh, yeah, 100% of the time. Always in
Clearly.
the gutter. A dirty mind.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
All right, some ticket texters. Sounds like the laws are a lot like vacation time to cookies. He's just going to do what he wants, no matter how others are affected. Doug in Sterling Heights.
Uh-huh. Was the weather nice enough for you to wear your onesie on vacation?
No, John, I didn't.
No.
I didn't pack the cabana.
Because
outfit.
if you were going to break the law, at least that would attract attention to where if somebody was making the left turn and you were in the pedestrian lane, they would notice.
couldn't miss you.
They couldn't miss you.
Yeah, it's not a good combination to stand out and break the law at the same time. Ticket texter says Madison, Wisconsin has diagonal crosses. They're fantastic.
Oh, I've never seen that either.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I don't know that.
That's
I've-
cool.
Yeah.
Texter says maybe it's a New England thing. I'm in Burlington, Vermont. It's the same way.
Oh, must be an East Coast, New England thing. Yeah.
It could be all the way down there. Ticket texter says, look at the busiest intersection in the world in Tokyo. They use this, and it is very efficient.
Well, yeah, if you're talking, so before games in Ann Arbor at the intersection of Main and Stadium, they make that so you can't just go east, west, north, south. As soon as they stop traffic, you can actually go diagonal, but it's because there's so much a massive amount of people. And I would think, somebody mentioned Tokyo.
Yeah, Tokyo.
Okay, you're talking about a mass of people.
But
in
1 o'clock on a
New
Thursday
Haven,
in
Vermont?
New Haven, Connecticut. Yeah,
Connecticut,
I don't know. It's whatever.
Interesting,
Very interesting.
the travels.
All right, John. From my understanding,
I'm just trying to make sure that I don't say anything that gets me in trouble with Heather in the next 3.5 minutes.
gotta be
I've
careful with
turned
that
it
one.
off. I've turned
You've
it
turned it
off.
off?
Yeah.
What have you turned off?
my dirty mind turned it off.
Don't do that.
All right, John, I'm led to believe today is the day for the early release of College Football 25.
I thought it was tomorrow. I thought it was the 16th.
So this is what's weird about it. It's 3 days early, and it comes out on Friday. But EA Sports, the maker of the game, I believe on their own site has said today at 4 p.m. So I'm going to find out at 4 p.m. if I have the early access today or not. But the decision has been made. The team that I will be coaching to kick off my illustrious career, the program that I will first don the headset for. John, with bated breath. I know many of you have been waiting. You probably spent most of your weekend wondering what team is Jim going to be coaching in this video game.
Yes.
I know it's what keeps you up at night.
Edge of my seat.
The fight song of... Do you know who this is, John? Hawaii! The Cabana Fit makes its way to the sideline.
I knew it. I called it. You just want another opportunity to wear the onesie.
The palm trees, the ocean.
So we've gone from Vince Lombardi in the top hat, the suit, the overcoat, to, Hank Stram, all of these classic icons on the sidelines. We have devolved as a society so much that now Jim Costa is going to be on the sidelines with a headset in a onesie?
It's two separate pieces. It's a swim trunks and a matching button-up Cabana Fit.
Maybe you shouldn't tuck it in.
I don't think it was the angle I was laying at.
I don't know.
It was maybe not
it's kind of
flattering.
disgusting when you tuck a T-shirt into a swim
shorts. Yeah, you shouldn't do that.
It's a twosie.
Twosie.
Not a onesie, but a twosie. So for anybody else getting the game, celebrating, it's a fun week. It's finally back.
Yeah.
11 years in the making.
Heather and I are going to ramp up our show prep because we know that yours will probably be not sufficient.
Sure.
That's good. That's probably a good call.
Yeah, more topics about, should I run this offensive set? Should I trade? Should I go through the transfer portal?
Rest assured, I'm not going to be breaking this down every day with you guys, but I do think it's a fun way to talk about the game that's coming out. And by the way, we're a team. We pick up one another. So when one person's lost in a web of playing a new video game, other people pick up their show prep. Doug, that's how shows work, right?
Yes.
Okay.
A give and take. A lot of back and forth. Or a lot of give.
Yeah.
You're not a gamer, are you, Doug?
No, but occasionally I'll play with my kids.
Well, tell your wife that if she gets to a point where she is so lonely, I don't mind people knocking on the door, especially at dinner time. If she wants to come over and have adult conversation instead of living in a house all by herself for the next 3 weeks because you're buried in some corner of your home, tell her to give a call. Just swing by.
How old were you when the last game came out, Costa?
13 would have been, give or take. I would have just wrapped up high school, so 20.
Do you think that there's any chance that you have changed?
As a person in the 11?
Yeah,
yes.
dramatically?
Yes.
Do you think that there's any chance that when you sit down a decade later and you're a little bit more grown up, that you won't be quite as thrilled as you expect you're going to be?
I doubt it, Doug.
Okay. All right.
I doubt it, Doug.
Right.
I'm
there's been a cap on the maturity.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways. Yeah, a lot of different ways we could take that question.
Mature,
That's a terrific question.
Because I think it's a fascinating social experiment. I think there's who knows? Maybe because the game and everything about the game seems like it's going to be better.
Yeah.
But people change. And stuff that I would have been thrilled about a decade later, even now, like from a decade ago, I'm sure has changed and evolved. So.
I feel like you'd loathe trying to fight to keep guys in the portal. You'd be like, this is everything I hate with the sport. Why'd they put this in the game?
Yes, and Twitch and text never miss anything. So you just said that, it was when you graduated high school, and then you said 20, so everybody wants to know, graduated high school at 20? That explains a lot.
No, I said I had just shortly graduated. Recently had graduated high school, and I would have been
2 years prior.
So I was in college at the time. Anyway, what do you guys got coming up on your show today?
Well, we will talk about the release of NCAA football. Interesting weekend for the Tigers, champ and chump. We got all kinds of stuff to mix in, so buckle up.
All right, Carson Anderson next, 97.1.
All right, Carson Anderson here on 97.1 The Ticket. Gators out today. Doug Karsh flying solo, and glad to be with you here on a Monday. Hope you had a great weekend. Good weather. Was hot, man. It was hot. Speaking of baseball parents out there, you know what I'm talking about. And you come back and you just feel like you've been playing. I mean, seriously, over the weekend, we were in dirt fields. Felt like we were in a sandbox all weekend. Got home and couldn't shower fast enough. But again, hope you had a great weekend. Mondays we do Champ and Chump, who had the best weekend and who had a weekend where they should be called out. We'll get to that coming up and have our Champ and Chump nominations. Kang will have his Champ and Chump nominations with Gator out today. Really interesting end of the first half of the season for the Detroit Tigers. I don't think we really need to go out of our way to overstate what it means. I don't know how much it moves the needle. But they certainly did show some fight at the end of the first half of the season. And what it is a sign of, I'm not really sure how to digest it. Because my instinct tells me it's just a sign of how long seasons are and how there's so many ebbs and flows. And there's so many stretches where you play well. You catch an opponent at the right time. I mean, I'm sure they're not happy with the way the Dodgers leave town, not happy with the way they played, thinking, we blew a 5-run lead and we blew another lead and couldn't field bunts and all that stuff. And they probably are looking in the mirror thinking it was more about what they couldn't do than what the Tigers did to them. So sometimes you catch a team at the right time. I don't know that it's going to be particularly significant on the grand scale of things, but when you go to an All-Star break playing that way, it certainly gives Detroit fans some feel-good going into the time off. And we will get to it throughout the show. And as Jim mentioned there at the end of the morning show, it is a big day in the world of gaming with NCAA football coming out and a complete and total revamp of how the game is done and how it's allowed to be done with what is now allowed as far as players' names, image, and likeness. It has all the makings of being way better than it was before. But the people that fell in love with the game are also 10 years older. And life changes in a lot of ways over the course of a decade. So we'll see how it goes. And, I got a call from my son today. Can I get it? And I was like, let me talk to your mom about it. And then I'm thinking, he's like, why don't you ask the listeners? I'm like, yeah, I will ask the listeners. Damn right I'll ask the listeners. Obviously, though, something happened over the weekend with an assassination attempt that everybody saw. And we don't get into politics on this program for a variety of reasons. But it is a big story, and clearly we're in a weird place in America. There's something that we do here that I think probably gets mocked more than anything. But it really does come from the heart. And that is at the end of every show, I will say, treat each other with respect. And that started during the heat of COVID debates here on the air and hearing different people's perspective. And the one thing that I've come to realize is that what you grow up with, what everyone grows up with, wherever they grow up, they look at that as their normal. And my normal, what I think is normal, what I think is typical, if everybody grew up the same way, with the same background and the same experiences, it would be a lot easier to see the world through the same prism. But when you start thinking about what I think is normal, what you think is normal, and what people from the wild diversity of backgrounds that we have think of as normal, it's easy to understand why we all see things through different perspectives. And you have to respect everyone's normal. You can't say somebody's wrong because they grew up under wildly different circumstances. And some people will think, I'll look at people and I'll think they grew up with a silver spoon in their mouth. And some people will look at me and say they think I grew up with a silver spoon in my mouth. And it's just because of what your normal is, your perspective. And somebody who didn't have as much thinks of everybody that has more of being more privileged than them growing up. And those experiences growing up shape the way that you see the world, in my opinion. And the thing that I think has made it so much tougher for us to interact with one another is the way we have so easily been able to dehumanize people that we interact with because of social media. You could sit and have discussions with people that you saw things different ways, but when you're face to face with someone, there's a level of respect that is, in my opinion, completely lost through social media. And because that level of respect goes away, and because you dehumanize the person on the other side of the screen, the temperature goes up very quickly. And with the temperature as hot as it is right now in America, it's a scary time. It's a scary time. And so, I don't know what the solution is. People way smarter than me. And this is just my opinion of what's happened. I'm giving my opinion, and then we're going to move on. But I just think collectively, if we all just take a deep breath, remember that this is the same team. We're all on the same team. And that you really should treat each other with respect. Because I just, the moment I heard what happened and heard the tragedy of a life lost, and I just thought, this is going to be awful. This is going to be terrible. And I think about, there's no point in going on social media after that. There's just no point. Snap judgments and accusations, and suddenly everybody's an expert on everything. And I get sick to my stomach the way we respond to things anymore. And so I hope we can all take a deep breath. I hope everybody can just think a little bit more about, put yourself in other people's shoes, and maybe it will help us be able to, see past our differences and remember something that binds us all together. And that's being Americans. So we're not going to spend a ton of time on it. In fact, we decided collectively we're not going to spend any more time on it, and just address at the beginning and try and take a deep breath and remember to treat each other with respect. All right. So NCAA football coming out. I do have some questions about it. Seems like a big day in the world of gaming. And I got to give the Tigers credit, man. I got to give the Tigers some credit for the way they ended the first half of the season and giving us some stuff to feel good about going into the All-Star break. Champ and Jump at 10:35. It's Carson Anderson. Gators out today here on 97.1 The Ticket. Hey, Sarah Chevrolet in Sterling Heights wants to make this your summer to save. Right now, you can get a new 2024 Chevy Equinox for just $252 a month with $19.99 down. It's a 2-year lease on an Equinox LS front-wheel drive for just $252 a month. Unlock the savings with your GM employee discount. Current lease in your household. Equinox is one of the roomiest compact SUVs available, and Sarah has over 70 in stock to shop from. Don't forget Sarah Chevrolet Sterling Heights, your number one volume Chevy dealer in Michigan. Remember this, Sarah Chevrolet, where they guarantee the lowest price, or it's free. 17.5 in Van Dyke at Sterling Heights. Call 87-SAY-SARAH or go to saysarah.com. Together, let's drive.